name is Laria Hawkins, and I am a part of the group with Ellison Preschool, teaching young preschool students who are nonverbal, who have behavior issues, to use picture exchange communication system, also known as PECS, to use the system to communicate with other people to essentially decrease their problem behaviors. So essentially, we want them to communicate more, so give them functional communication in order to decrease their problem behaviors. So increase communication and decrease their problem behaviors. So I'm going to do a training to go over PECS. So with PECS, there are essentially 4 steps to doing that. And so the first one is just to teach the exchange of giving the teacher the picture and receiving the item. The second one is just to increase the distance between the teacher and the student. So the student has to actually walk to the teacher to give that item, give the picture to receive that item. And then the next one is to add the book, which I made a book I'll show you guys, and with different PECS in it, different pictures in it to choose from, to give the teacher to select from. So adding some discrimination in there, and the teacher giving them the item, and then adding the asking what do you want, and the student giving a sentence, using a sentence strip of I want plus that item, plus that picture, and receiving the item. So there has to be some sort of exchange, and a lot of people kind of miss that step and just kind of give the student the item without actually giving the picture, having the picture in the hand, and giving the student the item. So the first one, again, is to, so we'll work on, what's this, juice first. So the first step is to just work on that, teaching the part of just exchanging the picture and I get this item. So you want to teach them that all I have to do is give you this picture and I get this item. So it's not worth it to fall out on the floor, scream, kick, bite. All I have to do is give you this picture and get this item. Give you this picture, get this item. So you would just teach the student to put this in your hand, and here, juice. Good asking for juice. So again, student would give the item, would give them this. Good. And you would make sure that you say the name of the item, because you also want to work on that verbal communication as well. Although you're teaching the exchange of the picture, you want to also pair the verbal communication, so that name of that item, so they can pick up on that verbal as well, incidentally. So again, you would just make sure they, point this down. So if they go to maybe pick up the juice, you would prompt them to pick up the picture, put it in your hand, and then trade them the juice. Juice, good asking for juice. Then again, just continue to do that and continue. And we all know, working with ABA, that repetition and consistency is very, very, very important. So continuing to do that and making sure that they receive a lot of high-level social praise with doing it. And again, making sure that the name of the item is paired. So juice, cookie, cracker, whatever that item is. The next thing that would do is, and I'll pick a different item, would increase the distance. And all of these things are just Velcroed in here. Looks like a piece of my Velcro came off. Which is fine. So next thing we would do is increase our distance. So let's just say that the student was over here. I, as the teacher, would move in a different location. And so I have the ball that the student wants. So the student now has to travel to me to get the ball. So I'm over here now, the student's over there. So the student has to walk to me and hand me the picture of the ball. Again, it's an exchange, so the picture needs to be placed in my hand. So the student knows that, hey, I have to place this picture in her hand in order for her to give me this ball. Oh, here, ball. Good asking. Again, making sure that I name what the item is, as well as giving that student some social praise with that. So that social praise, as well as the name, is paired with him placing that picture in my hand. Again, it is a exchange, picture exchange, communication. So student has to come find me. So wherever I am, student leaves from wherever we're working or playing and comes to find me. So hands me the picture and I hand him the ball. Ball! Awesome asking. Perfect! So, and just repeatedly, so that changes. So, and of course there's a hierarchy. So once they master that first step, then they can go on to that second step. If not, then we're setting them up to fail if we just, you know, automatically jump to that second step. And of course it goes by their level of functioning as well. So wouldn't just keep a student at that first step if they're ready to go to the second step, or would automatically jump to the third step if they're not even close to mastering that first step. And then the third step would be adding in a book to where they would have control of this book. And I'll point it down again. So they would have control of this book, and they would be able to flip through these pages. And I just added a couple in here, and then would also have that last page, or wherever the page is on the back, or wherever, with a blank strip, because the student will always acquire new items that they want. Their reinforcers change minute to minute, second to second, day to day, with things that they like. So these things will always change. So you'd always want new spaces to add new things. And I'm sure if you guys haven't seen one, that these pages might be filled up with lots of things, just depending on where they are as far as their functioning and how many mans that they have. So I just did this for an example. So it only has about 5 in here. But so there would be like other non-preferred things in here, to where they would flip through here and have to discriminate excuse me, between preferred things and non-preferred items. So that third step would be them, so us adding the book in, and they having to flip through the book and picking up the piece. And again, these are Velcroed in here, so you can always put them back, and then going to give it to the teacher wherever she is to get that item. So this is a Nutri-Grain bar, so would flip through the book and, oh, I want a Nutri-Grain bar. So again, instead of me kicking, screaming, hollering, all I have to do is flip through this book. Oh, my handy dandy book, and here, give this to the teacher. Here you go, Nutri-Grain bar. Perfect asking. So here you go. Okay, I might want something different this time, so let's see what we have. Oh, milk. There you go. Here's some milk. Perfect. That is awesome. Looking through your book and knowing what you want. You want crackers next, so it gives you that. Cracker, good asking. And of course, I would not provide those whole packets. That's just, I didn't want to open them, but I'll provide small quantities, small quantities and limited access, so they do have a reason to come back. Because if I did just provide this whole pack or this whole juice carton, then they would have no reason to ask and no motivation to come back. Then I just gave you the whole thing, then you have no reason to ask and no reason to come back to me. So we always want to make sure that we provide small pieces or limited hold to things. So if I did provide this ball, then I would maybe set a timer to maybe 10-30 seconds for them to play with the balls. Or if it was a phone or iPad, then again 30 seconds, depending on where they are or how long they can access a break. But I've been able to pop Starburst into about 10 pieces, so it depends. And then that last step is adding in this, asking what they want, and adding in this I want. So they would have to, so pointing to this, excuse me, fix my screen again. So pointing to I want, and then them having to, so what do you want? And then if they didn't, then I would prompt them. So take their hand and prompt them, I want, and bar. And then I would provide them bar. So that works on building up their meaningless utterance. So building up that them using their sentences and increasing their sentence length. And of course, again, always pairing up that verbal with that PECS, because PECS might not always be the last resort. So they might catch on incidentally with the verbal. And these are just preschoolers who our scenario was for. So the sky's the limit with, especially those little ones with the early intervention. So we always want to use that verbal with them. But I hope the training was helpful. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please ask. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.